Ni3 involves collaborative research across national boundaries to investigate and prevent gender-based violence. We asked our research fellows to review the reports recently published by one of our other study country teams. Karyl Powell-Booth from UTech Jamaica reviewed Ni3 India's report on gender bias.
My name is Karyl Powell-Booth, and I am the research fellow for the NI3 Research Centre, Jamaica.
What impact has reading this report had on you?
The research has impacted me primarily in an emotional way. So I was really moved to learn that gender inequality is that pervasive across the society, and it impacts so many different aspects of not only women's lives, but by extension the lives of children and also the lives of men.
What are the main messages you will take from this research?
There are several messages, key findings that jumped out at me. First of all, in India, gender inequality is a very complex phenomenon that also leads to gender bias and, by extension, the bystander effect. Another take-home message is that many women, unfortunately, feel that their sense of agency has been diminished. In other words, they are of the view, because of socialization, that they have little or no control over their circumstances. And as a result of that, they are caught in a vicious cycle where they may be subject to abuse. They also may not be able to access certain basic facilities, and their rights, their human rights, are trampled upon. So, for example, by way of accessing education, they are at a disadvantage, and even to get jobs, they're also at a disadvantage. So primarily, many of them grew up believing that their role in society is to have children and to take care of the home, and that's where their place is. Another important finding that really resonated was the whole business of having children. So for the respondents who participated in the studies in India, children played a vital role in their lives. For some women, having children meant that, or caused women to remain in abusive relationships because they wanted to ensure that their families remained intact. On the other hand, for other women, having children was actually the catalyst or the motivation for women to leave these abusive situations because they wanted to improve their lives and the lives of their children. Interestingly, one of the solutions to the problem of gender inequality and gender bias in India is that of increase in awareness. And this would include increase in public awareness, as well as an increase in education of children. And so, by way of including in the curriculum matters related to gender inequality and gender bias, this will help to stem the problem of gender inequality and gender bias in India. Given that it is a very patriarchal society, it is important for males to become advocates for gender inequality, especially males who are influential in society. This will help to have a change in the shift, a change or a shift in the thinking of individuals, and for them to recognize the importance of equality for females as happens for males.
Who will you tell about this, and why?
One of the groups of persons who I will be sharing this information with, this critical information, are my university students. These students would learn social psychology, psychology, and even child development. And I believe it is important for these students to be aware of the cross national beliefs and practices because, in turn, it can help to shape their own behavior here in Jamaica. In addition to that, one of the concepts that was highlighted in the research, in the findings from the research, was that of the bystander effect. And especially in social psychology, when we think of the bystander effect, we usually think of the bystander being a stranger who will not get involved. But instead, we learned from the research in India that bystanders can even be persons within the family, within the home, or extended family members who decide that they will not get involved, and that is because they think it is a domestic matter and therefore there is no need for their input, or they may be afraid to get involved for various reasons. So, for reasons such as those, I think sharing this information with my students will be of paramount importance.